Hi and welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to be looking at the National Lottery's Community Fund applications and the three main reasons why people are getting rejected and what you can do to overcome all three so you've got the best chance of it going through first time. So before I jump into that, please hit the subscribe button so you can subscribe to this channel with everything to do with CICs and grant funding. So that aside, let's jump in. So the National Lottery have become very competitive of late. So they are kicking applications back for sort of similar issues. I think what has happened is since the pandemic, a lot of companies and new CICs have been formatted, especially because probably the cost of living, and people are looking for other ways to sort of get income in and create new jobs for themselves. So things have just changed and CICs are becoming super popular. So it's fine. I've still seen lots and lots of successful applications get through, but what they're doing is they're really separating them out. So I can see what's happening. They don't want CICs that are formatted, that are new, that don't have a connection with their community, that don't have a strong idea. So the first thing that they are rejecting on, this is the first tip I've got, is that they are rejecting because there has been no community consultation taking place. So applications that I've seen go through first time have done fantastic community consultation beforehand. They may even have run a fundraiser event. They may have done surveys in the community. They may have done steering groups. I always suggest doing steering groups on Zoom, just get a few people from the community involved and help design the project, speak to partners, actually collate that information. And if you're someone who's been working with this community for a period of time, maybe you've come from a profession or you've been running another community group or working for somebody else and you've already been working with this community, then you would have naturally been doing consultations and asking about what the problems they suffer are, what solutions could help. So in a sense, you've been doing that naturally anyway. So what you want to convey on your application form is that you've been doing this for 12 months, say period, or maybe a few years if you've been working with the community a few years, or if you're somebody who's from the community, maybe you've got a personal life experience that means that you are starting a CIC to help people who have had the same experience of you. Obviously that would have been several years that you'd have had that experience, had that life experience, and probably been in a community with other people who have had that life experience. So you just convey that basically for at least 12 months you've been in that community or working with that community. So you want to just basically say that in a few lines, that you have consulted your community over 12 months, you've done steering groups, you've done some kind of maybe taster event or workshop or fundraiser, and maybe some kind of surveys or feedback forms, or like a Facebook poll is another idea. If you do say you've done a Facebook poll or an event or something, make sure you put some evidence of it on your social media so that they can go and they can see that that did actually happen. And I do find that they do check, they will go over and have a look. So if you say you've done a Facebook poll, they'll go and look for it. So there's my first tip, is community consultation. Now the second thing that people are getting turned down on, which is a big one, is the budgets. They're filling in their budgets wrong. So your budget needs to be realistic. So don't try to conquer the world for a £10,000 grant. So it doesn't need to be anything massive. You do need to pay yourself, and you need to pay yourself properly. They don't want you to pay yourself too much. So it seems to be around about £150 for a lottery application for a sessional worker or a project manager as a day rate. So work on that basis. And what they want you to do is say that if you are a director and you're hiring yourself, you'll need to justify that. So in the budget, they've got the little boxes where you say each item. Now you don't want to just write staff costs X amount. You want to actually go into detail. So I'd say I'm hiring myself as a sessional worker or project manager or lead artist, and I can justify this, actually say that I can justify this, even though I am a director, because I've been doing very unique work, and there isn't anybody else in this area that's been doing this unique work with this community and that's come up with this solution. Therefore, I'm the only person that can do this work. So that's how you justify you doing the work, even though you're a director, okay? Another thing is, say you're getting quotes on venues or equipment hire. I've got 3 quotes, this was the most competitive. So you can say, because they will come back and say, did you get 3 quotes? So I find that's a common thing that they come back with. So just be realistic, give lots of detail, lots of justification. Say you've looked around, you've shopped around, and make sure you've got a nice watertight budget that they can't reject. And the third thing that seems to be a reason why people get rejected that you need to consider is just your idea. It needs to be a really good idea that no one else in your area is doing. So you need to be something a bit unique that other people aren't doing. If they're funding, say you're doing a photography project, but they're already funding other people that are doing that in your area, they're not going to fund you. They'll say, no, we're already doing that. So make sure you do a little bit of research first. You check out what other CICs are doing in your area and what they've got funding for. Try to put a bit of a unique spin on it so that you can make sure that you are doing something unique, something exciting, something that's going to be really impactful, something that the community wants and doesn't have. That's the key. So those are my 3 main tips to get you through the lotteries application. If you need any more help, I do an application checker appointment. So you can book a call with me on my website and I will actually look over your application and tweak it and just make sure all the language and everything is all covered so you've got the best chance of success.